Welcome yogis, I'm Jade Ocean. Thank you for joining my channel today. So today we're going to be doing a nice, slow, soft yin yoga. We're going to be opening up the hips. We're going to be opening up our hip flexors, so the front of the hips, and then primarily opening up the glutes, the piriformis, all the muscles in the glutes, okay? So we will be holding our poses for about 2 to 3 minutes. Nice and slow, nice and calm. It can be a little bit intense, so be sure that you have a few props with you to allow for you to go deeper into this in some sort of a peaceful state, so comfort, finding ease in it. So I would recommend having a bolster. Make sure you have maybe a blanket close by. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a pillow, just anything you could just allow your body to surrender onto. And then a couple of blocks. Okay, so when you're ready, grab your goodies and I will meet you on your mat in a seated pose. All right, so let's come into our first pose. We're going to come into either a Sukhasana pose, which is a cross-legged pose with our knees out to the side. You can have one leg in front of the other. You can also bring your one foot on top of the other. You can also come into a Baddha Konasana pose. And Baddha Konasana is where our feet, the bottom of our feet, are to touch our knees or out to the side. You can also place blocks underneath the knees to allow them to just have a little bit of support without feeling like, you know, it's too much, you can hurt yourself. So just allowing yourself to be able to be in this pose in, you know, good support, to feel safe. What's important with both poses is that you are able to root down evenly with both sitting bones, so both butts are able to press down and ground down evenly into the earth, into the ground. And you are able to maintain a nice, long, erect spine. So without rolling forward, without arching, without feeling discomfort in the hips, we want to find ease in this pose. So take a moment just to find what works for you. I'm going to come into a Sukhasana pose. And just allow your maybe arms to maybe just settle, resting on your thighs, your inner thighs, or your knees. Just allow them to just sit here softly. Palms facing up, shoulders lifting, rolling back. Deep inhale, and just imagining that inhale, that energy drawing all the way down through your nose, past the throat, drawing past the chest into your belly, and just visioning your belly expanding, not just feeling it, but envisioning it. And today I'd like to just set the intention for this practice of just imagining for the outcome. So visualizing what we want to happen, not just thinking about it, but or just feeling it, but imagine it, see it. So as the breath comes in, just visualize that breath just drawing as an energy, just drawing into your body. Imagine the ribs expanding. So opening, you feel the ribs and then you imagine them. You have a vision of them just expanding very slowly. And as we exhale, just thinking about the shoulders, lifting and rolling back, opening up the chest, drawing the front ribs into the body, allowing them just to surrender into the body. Inhale, just feeling this energy fulfilling your body. And imagining everything just growing. So creating length with each breath, grounding with each exhale. And maybe clearing your mind just a little bit more. And just drawing your attention to this moment right here. Letting go of everything else. Nothing else can serve you right now. Nothing else matters right now. Just breathing, your position, your alignment. That's all that matters. And so what I want you to do is just very slowly begin to just moving from the bottom of the torso. So we're moving from the hips and we're just going to move on, keeping our body in one line. So we're keeping our spine neutral here. We're just going to rotate, just creating circles, very slow with the body. So moving with our breath. Just deep inhale, softening the arms, just allowing them to move with you. Maybe inhaling as you come forward. And then holding it until you come back to where you started the inhale. And then begin to slowly exhale through the nose. Maybe creating that ujjayi breath. Soft whispering sound. Continue to imagine that breath drawing pure energy into your body. Almost as though we're drawing life, positive life into us. And then when you're ready, rotate the opposite direction. Again, beginning to inhale and completing the inhale, holding it until you get to where you started. And same thing with the exhale. Nice and slow. Again, just remembering to keep length in the spine. Just a little bit of movement here. Keeping that energy drawing up through the crown of the head, lifting. And then one more deep inhale as we stop. And then let's place our palms in front of us, maybe having a block close by. If you don't have them, or if you're using blocks underneath your knees at the moment, you can grab maybe a blanket and just place it in front of you. And then we're just going to walk the hands forward. Take a nice full deep inhale through the nose, drawing that energy into our back body, walking forward just a little bit deeper. Maybe if you're in Baddha Konasana, maybe drawing your feet forward a little bit more to come into this nice soft forward fold. And just allowing your forehead to fall to the blanket, or you can use a bolster as well. Letting your forearms fall down, imagining pressing your sitting bones down into the floor. Firming your navel up and in, folding from the belly, from the hips. Just letting your body surrender, keeping the breath going, visualizing opening your hips, just thinking about your knees, where they are. Maybe you see your heart beating. Maybe you see your ribs opening, stretching each muscle in between each rib. And then when you're ready, let's press into the palms, spreading the fingers and straightening the arms. Begin to slowly walk the hands close to the body, lifting the body up once again. Maybe moving your blanket or bolster or block off to the side. And then let's just move our body just from right to left, just a couple times here. It's almost like we're bending, but we're not quite bending. It's like we're going to prepare to bend. So I'm just tipping right to left, not moving in circles, just moving back and forth. And then let's bring our hands to maybe our knees or in your lap. Again, taking a deep breath in, and then exhale. Let's just begin to create these like snake-like movements with our body. We're just rotating the spine around, just creating this organic movement, circulation, almost like a cat-cow, but we're coming to the side, maybe moving in circles here, and just opening the spine up. Again, remember to move with the breath. And then when you're ready, you can rotate your circles, your rolls, whatever you've chosen. So it's almost like this wave-like motion with the body. Just waking up the core, moving a little bit deeper into the hips here. Drawing the awareness to your sitting bones, your butt, muscles, pressing down. And then let's stop moving and just come back to a straight position. And then when you're ready, let's bring you can remove your blocks off to the side here. So let's remove our blocks if you're using blocks. And then just draw let's start with our right leg. So draw your right leg in front of you so it's parallel to the mat. And then we're going to lift, so pressing into the floor, I'm going to lift my left knee and I'm going to roll to my right hip. And then just extend, so I'm internally rotating that left leg and extending the leg just behind me here. So it's on the side of me, but it's pointed behind me. So I'm coming to the inside of the leg. And then again, taking a deep inhale, rerouting down with the left hip. Let's extend our arms out to the side, just taking a nice salutation. Triceps roll forward as we come up. Deep inhale. And then let's lower our left arm down to the floor, and then we're just going to bend, reaching with our right arm over towards our left side. My elbow is bending in towards my body of my left arm. And I'm reaching with my elbow, not my arm, so my arm's not too stiff. I'm reaching with my elbow, lifting and rolling my shoulder up. So I'm opening my chest up towards that right side. Deep inhale. Creating length in the neck. So not letting your neck fall, supporting the neck. Pressing my right side body to my right side. Allowing my legs to soften, noticing where they're stiff. Arm down as you come up. Again, let's just take a nice full inhale as we salute back up. And then exhale, releasing our right hand down to the floor. And then we're going to extend and reach towards our right side as we open up our left side body here. And so I'm reaching with my left elbow, opening up my chest towards the left side, bending my right elbow in towards my body as I press through my right palm. Deep inhale into those areas that feel a little bit stiff, maybe a little tight. And then exhale as we come up and release the left arm down. Let's bring our left leg back forward. So I'm going to recross it in the front, and then we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So now our left leg is parallel to the mat in front of us, and then we're just going to roll to our left side, lift our right knee up, and then internally rotate our leg so that then we're on the inside of our right leg, and our leg and foot is pointing backwards on the side of us. Just noticing maybe how this side's different from the other side. Finding your right glute back into the floor, maybe rocking. Keeping the length in the spine. Imagining there's this just a pull out of the crown of your head, just lifting you up as you press. You're trying to glue your hips to the floor. So you're gluing your sitting bones to the floor. And then just relaxing your hips. And then let's take another salute here. So extending your arms out away, reaching away from your body. So we're reaching up through our head, through the crown of our head, through our spine, reaching our arms out and away. As we come up, we rotate our triceps forward. Deep inhale to lengthen once again, and let's release our right hand to the floor on the outside of our right shin. And then we're going to begin to reach with our left hand, our left elbow, towards our right side. And we're opening up our left side body, so you may notice your hip feels a little energy drawing into it right now. So keeping the length in the spine, don't let your body just fall and collapse into your right side. You want to keep length, so lift. Deep inhale, let the front ribs just absorb into the body. Imagine lifting the back ribs away from the pelvis to lengthen the torso. Opening that left side body up. And then when you're ready, exhale, release your left hand down as you reach up with the head. Again, let's salute. And then release your left hand to the floor. You're reaching with your right elbow towards the left side. Opening your shoulder up. Remembering to keep length in your left torso. So lifting. So we're not just bending, we're lifting, creating more space in that right side body. Lifting our left ribs up away from our left hip flexors. Deep inhale here. If you have a little bit more flexibility and can go a little bit deeper into the spine without collapsing in your left side body, begin to draw your elbow towards, so bending it towards your body. And then exhale, release your right arm down to the floor. So let's remove our props. Just move them out of the way here for just a sec. I'm going to move my blanket to the front here, and let's come into a balasana pose. So we're going to come into knees open, toes to touch, sink our hips back, extend our palms out in front of us, and just surrender our body. So we're creating this space here for our torso and our chest just to fall and allow gravity to let it just sink down into the floor. Forehead to touch the floor, release the arms, so just relax them. You can extend them forward and then relax them. You can also bring the hands to clasp. You can just bring them in if you like, whatever feels comfortable for you. Again, drawing that breath into the belly, into the back body, feeling it, seeing it. And then also visualizing it as it releases from the body. And then let's slide our hands forward as we lift our hips up until they come over top of our knees. We're going to untouch the toes so our legs are extending straight out from the knees behind us. And then allow your chest just to fall and sink as we come up onto our chin. Deep inhale here, rolling our triceps towards the floor. Imagining spreading your collarbones, so we're creating length here, drawing our shoulder blades into our chest. Lifting, pulling the knees apart here, allowing your sitting bones to stretch. And then exhale, lifting up, pressing into the palms. Let's extend our right leg straight back. So keeping a bend, a 90-degree bend in the knee, we're going to extend our leg straight back. So think of imagining pulling that right hip down. What wants to happen is we want to lift the hip. So we want to draw that right hip down. We want to keep our front hip bones level to the floor. So we want them both to be equal distance from the floor. And we're lifting straight back, so our leg's not coming out to the side right now. Maybe flexing the foot, pressing into the palms, lifting through the forearms, lengthening through the crown of the head away from the knee, firming remember the front ribs into the body, creating nice sturdy strength in our bellies to support our lower back. So keeping neutral spine here, not allowing for a dip. So we're going to draw our belly in, and then extend your knee out to the side, and we're just going to come into these rotations. So we're going to create big circles, not touching the floor, keeping the foot flexed. So we're going to come as we're up, and then we extend out to the side. Our foot falls in just a little bit, and then we're going to come all the way down. Foot begins to point up towards the ceiling again. Just these big rotations. Keep pressing through the palms. Nice and slow. Keep moving with the breath, just as we did in the beginning. Rotating the torso. We're going to rotate the hip. And then when you come to the bottom, let's go ahead and rotate the opposite direction. So as I come out to the side, my heel falls in, and then as I come back in towards the body, my foot points up again. And then let's come back to extend the leg straight back. Still bending the knee. We're going to rotate out to the side and then bring our foot on the outside of our right palm. Go ahead and begin to unroll the toes. If you have the toes curled, uncurl them. And then open the knee out to the side and move the foot. So lift the foot up and keeping the heel grounding into the floor. We're going to lift the foot up to move with the knee. And then it's a deep inhale here, maybe rotating the hip. Let's draw our left palm in just a little bit so it's underneath our left shoulder. We're going to begin to press our right knee with our right palm just to open up, and then just moving the hips around here. So I'm just creating very, very slow rotations with my hips. Keep the breath going, so deep inhale, followed by a nice, slow, controlled exhale. So here we're opening up our front hip flexor and our left hip, and then we're going a little bit deeper into possibly in the piriformis here. You may feel in your hamstring. Everybody's different. And then maybe grabbing your bolster. Let's just place our bolster right underneath of us. So we're going to place it right under us. And then rolling our hip out. So we're going to roll to the outside of our right foot, rolling our knee and our foot out. And then just maybe coming down to our forehead on the bolster. Maybe allowing your chest and your body just to surrender onto the bolster completely. Deep inhale. Remember creating length in the spine. Just surrender. I'm holding my bolster right now and just hugging in just a little bit. So my arms are supporting my upper body even though I'm surrendering onto my bolster. I'm still supporting myself, so I'm not just completely collapsed here. Maybe swaying the hips just a little bit, just to go a little deeper into that hip. And then very carefully coming back to the top of back to your palms. We're going to lift the front of the foot and then draw the right knee in, let the foot in. We're going to rotate the knee and the foot back in. And then let's lift the foot and then extend it back. into our tabletop Barsmanasana pose. So let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So you can curl the toes under, leave it uncurled. We're going to lift our left leg straight back, keeping a bend in our knee. So we're extending straight back. So maybe rolling and rotating the inner thigh up just a little bit. We just want it to come straight back, not out to the side right now. Just feeling your glutes, activating the muscle, drawing your attention to your core, supporting your lower back, pressing into the floor, spreading the hands. And then again, same thing, we're going to extend knee out to the side as the foot falls in, and then just create these circular motions with the knee, nice big circles. Just finding fluidity in this movement. Just opening the hip, keeping the left hip drawing down, keeping the arms nice and rooted, nice and straight. Continue to move gracefully and slowly. And then rotating your circles the opposite direction. Keep the breath going. Let's extend the leg straight back again, bending with the knee. We're going to rotate the knee out to the side and then bring our foot all the way up to the outside of the left hand. Let's walk our right hand in just a little bit. And deep inhale, let's go ahead and rotate our knee out while we lift the front of our foot to rotate out with the knee. We're just going to uncurl the back toes if they're curled, and then press on your left knee as we create these little circular motions with our hips. Just baby motions. Remember, keep pressing into the right palm evenly. Keep the breath going. And then lifting the ball of the foot to rotate with the knee back in. We're going to grab our bolster and then place it under the body once again. And then just rolling to the outside of our left foot as the knee rotates out, as the knee extends out to the side. And then just surrendering onto your bolster. Either you can have your forearms on the bolster, or you can have them on the side of the bolster, and then just allow your forehead to come down. If you have a little more flexibility here, you can come all the way down and just surrender completely into the bolster. Just be sure the knee and the foot are following. You may notice the side may be a little bit tighter than the other side. Keep the breath going. And then let's carefully walk our hands back up. Let's remove our bolster off to the side. We're going to press into the palms to lift that left foot to come back into our Barsmanasana tabletop pose. Let's curl our toes, press into the palms, rotate our triceps back. So we're rotating the arms, so the triceps roll back, firming the arms in. So we're drawing the arms in towards towards each other to activate the chest. We're going to curl the toes under, lift the knees up and back, press our hips up, and then press them back so you can bend the knees here, creating length. So I'm pressing into my inner palms, rooting up through the arms, lifting and reaching through my side hips, up and back. And then begin to relax the legs, maybe pressing your femurs back a little bit further here, maybe releasing your heels to the floor, maybe keeping them up. We want to create a nice straight line of energy from wrist all the way to side hip. So creating length, firming the belly up and in. Let's lift our right knee up and back, bending the leg again, 90-degree angle. We're going to bend and reach our right toe towards our left corner of our mat, opening the knee up, straight up. Trying to keep that right hip down just a little bit, coming up onto the toes maybe bending the left knee a little bit, opening up your calf. Keep pressing into the floor. And deep inhale. Release the front of the shin to the floor, and then we're going to draw our left knee in to cross behind our right knee. Roll back, coming onto our sitting bones into a seated position. Roll to the top, to the bottom of the feet on the left foot, extending. So our left heel is in towards our right glute. Our right knee is pointed up, and our right foot is planted on the floor on the outside of our left thigh. Deep inhale here. Reach out to the sides of you with your arms, and then reach around your right knee and hug it into your body. Keep pressing with your sitting bone on your right side into the floor as you pull your knee in towards your chest. I'm just pulling and folding. Deep inhale here, creating the length into the spine. Exhale, firming the belly. Maybe pulling the knee in just a little bit deeper. This is Ardha Matsyendrasana, and this pose is a wonderful pose, usually done with a twist. When we hug the knee and we get a little bit deeper into the piriformis, which is inside the glute. It's deep in the glute. It's just a muscle that tends to get really tight along with the glute maximus and all the other glute muscles, with a lot of sitting, a lot of lack of activation in this muscle. It tends to just become tight and inactive. And so by stretching it, it wakes this muscle up, and if it's really tight, the stretch opens it up. Keep the chest up, keep the collarbone nice and lengthened. I'm twisting from my torso towards my right side, rooting down evenly with both sitting bones. My right one's not lifted up. I'm pressing that bone into the floor. Keep pulling your knee in, relaxing the hip flexor. Be sure your toe is pointed the same direction as your knee. So if your knee's out this way, make sure your foot's pointed the same direction. And then let's release our hands. We're just going to lean forward, press into our right foot to plant our hands onto the floor. We're going to lift our hips up, move our left foot from the left side to the right side, and then extend our right foot back, coming back into our down dog. Pressing into the floor, lifting the hips up and back. Maybe noticing the difference in your glutes. Maybe this right glute feels just a little bit more open, a little more energized. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So bending the knee, we're going to extend our leg straight back and then begin to point the right foot towards the right front corner of the mat, opening up our front hip flexor on the left side. Pulling that left hip down just a little bit, lifting up onto the toes, pressing into the floor, still lifting the hips up and back. Let's draw the right knee into the chest as we exhale, and then we're going to lower the shin of the left foot towards the floor, the left leg towards the floor, onto the floor. Cross that left knee behind your right knee, extend your foot out to the side, and roll back. So sitting bones come back onto the floor, and then roll on top of your left foot. So we're coming to the bottom of the left foot. Right heel is pulled into my left glute, and I'm sitting down evenly with both sitting bones. Let's inhale, extend arms out to the side, and then exhale, wrap your arms around your left knee and pull it in. Same thing, pulling it into the body. Begin to twist just a little bit towards your left side. Lifting up through the head. Not leaning or tilting to one side. Nice and straight. Using your core to twist. Just a baby subtle twist here. As we exhale, firming the belly. Maybe pulling the knee in just a little closer. Keep pressing into the left palm. Keep pressing into the left foot. Keep rooting down through that left sitting bone as you pull that left knee into the chest. One more deep breath. Let's press into our left foot. We're going to bring our palms back onto the floor in front of us, roll over onto our right knee, and then curl the back toes under again, and then we're going to lift our right foot to extend it back to the right side and extend our left foot back to meet our right, pressing back into our Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, exhale. Let's take another full inhale to lift the right knee back up, coming back into our scorpion dog or our Adho Mukha Svanasana, Vrshi Kasana Pada. A little fancier way of saying it. And draw our knee into our chest, and again we're going to lower our right shin to the floor, all the way to the knee. Extend our left knee, drop our left knee to the floor, extend it behind us just a little bit further. Uncurl the toes, press into the palms, swaying side to side. So we're coming into our pigeon pose. Deep inhale, just rocking our bodies, our torso, side to side. Be sure you have your bolster close to you. So your right foot could be out to the side. It could also be extending towards your left knee, whichever works for you. What we don't want is to have our right knee out to the side of us too far. So we want to keep it, possibly behind the right palm towards the body. Allow your left hip just to surrender a little bit deeper into the earth. Continue to sway side to side, just little sways, almost like you're rocking your shoulders, moving side to side here. And then grabbing your bolster and placing it in front of you, maybe along to the mat, and then just surrendering onto your bolster, so you can have your elbows on the bolster. If you have a little more flexibility, you can come all the way to the floor or just to the top of the bolster, so you can release your chest onto this pillow and coming maybe to one ear. Just surrender, just sinking, allowing your hip to open, allowing your glute to open. Just focusing on your breath. Again, imagining the muscles just releasing, the tensions relaxing. Closing your eyes. And always place a blanket under your left knee as well. If your knees are a little bit more sensitive. Just for a little bit more comfort and support. Continue to focus on the breath. And just allowing these sensations to bring growth. Maybe instead of organizing it and categorizing it as pain or hurt, maybe just seeing it as growth, walking around it a little bit, and smiling, knowing that you're learning from this. Your body is becoming better. Keep breathing. When you're ready, let's press into the palms, maybe moving your pillow or bolster off to the side in front of you. Pressing into the palms again, curling the back toes under, lifting the right knee, and then extending the leg back into our Adho Mukha. Again, lift the hips up and back, creating length. Maybe stretching out the calf of the right foot or the right leg. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So let's bend the knee, coming back into our, as we said, our scorpion dog or Vrishikasana, Pada. And then drawing the knee into the chest as you roll forward. Release the left shin all the way to the knee on the floor. We're going to release the back knee, uncurl the toes, and then maybe walking or pulling the knee back just a little further here. And then swaying again side to side as we did on the opposite side, just from the hips. So we're keeping our hips pretty still here. I'm just moving side to side from my torso, so from the base of my torso, so from my pelvis. So keeping my arms nice and straight, I'm lifting up, still maintaining that space. I'm drawing my right hip just a little forward, so I'm not in this weird tilted like side position here. So my hip flexors, my front hip bones are pretty even to the front of the mat. Of course, my right one's just a little further behind me. As I move towards my left side, I feel a deeper penetration of stretch in my left glute, piriformis. So pulling my left hip into my body, drawing it towards my right. right side. And when you're ready, grab your bolster and draw it into you. Or if you're not using a bolster, you can just come all the way and surrender onto the floor completely. Or you can bring your elbows onto the bolster. You can also release your chest, your heart onto the bolster, and have your arms come to the side. Whatever feels like you can come into this pose in some sort of, as I said in the beginning, some sort of peace. So we're not stiffening our bodies. We're able to just relax and surrender completely into this pose. So you'll feel a little discomfort maybe in the glute, maybe the hip just a little bit, but the rest of our body should feel some sort of ease here. You may notice on one side you're able to come a little bit deeper. Always my left side's a little bit tighter, so it's a little bit harder for me to on this side. Just think about relaxing the back of the neck and seeing it. Keep breathing. It's just imagining that right hip just releasing to the floor. Opening up your left glute just a little bit further. Relaxing the face, letting the jaw just hang. Letting the eyelids just relax. The lips. And then very carefully and slowly make your way back on your hands. Move your bolster back to the front or off to the side. Press into the palms. We're going to curl the back toes, lift the right knee up, and then lift your left leg, coming back into our Adho Mukha. Take a deep inhale and just stretch the back of the legs here. So remember to maintain that nice straight energy of wrists all the way to the side of your hip. And then maybe pressing the femurs back. Releasing the hamstrings just a little here. And exhale, let's roll forward to a plank. Just holding this plank for just a moment. Pulling our tailbone down towards our heels. Remember to spin the triceps back. Exhale, coming back into our Adho Mukha. So let's open our feet here. We're going to open our feet up just a little bit here. And then begin to bend the knees and walk the feet up to meet the hands. So we're going to come into a Malasana pose. So if you'd like, you can also place a block. So you can sit on a block. You can use two if that works a little bit better for you. So our knees are out to the side, so we're externally rotating from the hip. We're not just moving the knees, right? And then our feet follow our knees. And then we're going to sit up nice and straight here. So if you're not using a block, just allowing yourself to fold into boxers, right? We're opening. So we're opening our hips out to the side. Let's extend our right hand out to the side, past our foot. And then we're just going to take an inhale, lift through the crown of the head, and then begin to twist to open the left arm towards the left corner. A little bit of a twist here. Keep lengthening up. And then release your left hand back down. Sit upright once again. Extend your left hand in front of your leg out to the left side of the left foot. And then we're going to take an inhale. Remember, create length, and then begin to twist, reaching with the right hand up away from the left hand. So you're creating a nice straight line with the arms. Release the left hand down. Let's press into the feet and move your block. And then let's come to a seated position. I'm going to turn to face you guys. And here we're going to again cross the legs. So we're coming back to our cross-leg pose here. Maybe go, if you were cross-leg, go the opposite way. So bring the other foot in front of however you did it last time. And then we're going to come actually into Agnistan. So this is a fire log pose. So let's extend one leg. So use the opposite of whatever you started with in the very beginning. We're going to bring our one leg in front of us. I'm going to bring my right leg in front of me. So my foot, my leg, my shin is parallel to the mat right now. And then I'm going to lift my opposite leg and then bring my heel on top of my knee. So it's actually right behind the knee. And then let my left knee lower down so it's right over top of my right foot. Okay, so it's basically like a double pigeon, or you're creating like this little diamond or triangle shape with your legs here. And take an inhale. Be sure that you can, root down evenly through both hips. If this seems a little bit challenging for you, you can also place a block under between the foot and the knee, the left knee, the knee that's on top here. Also too, you can bring that leg in front of you and just place blocks, underneath that leg completely. So whichever works for you. Just be sure, again, you can find that neutral spine to elongate, to soften. And then here we're just going to rotate again, just as we did in the very beginning. We're going to sway our bodies in these circular motions, just allowing our hips to open. Keep the breath going, keep the belly nice and firm. So we're using our core to move in these circular motions. And then rotating that circular motion. So we're going the opposite direction now. Keeping length in the spine. Keeping space between each vertebrae, even in this motion. And then when you're done, let's lift our left knee up, and then we're just going to wrap. So I'm going to wrap my my left arm underneath the knee. So it's going to come into the inside of my wrist, so the bend, right? Or the inside of my elbow, the bend here. And then I'm going to lift my left foot up, and then I'm just going to wrap my right. I'm going to bring my foot into my bicep. Alrighty, let's lift the left knee up. And I'm going to lift my left foot up. Okay, so I'm going to use my left hand to lift it up. I'm going to bring my foot, flex it, and then bring it into my right bicep, and then wrap the arm around. Grab onto my calf here, and then wrap my left arm, so my knee is coming into my left bicep, or the crease of the elbow, and then grab the hand. You can grab the wrist, whatever works for here. So we're coming into our cradle pose. This is Hindalasana, or cradle pose. And then just pulling that leg up into the body, coming onto the arch of the foot. So if your foot slid and you're a little bit higher up, you can always move your foot up, move the foot up a little bit so you come into the arch. And then just rocking, maybe just sawing your leg back and forth here. Pulling that right heel into the left glute just a little bit deeper. And rocking again. You may also bring your left arm, thread it underneath your calf, and then grab that wrist as well, just to come a little bit higher up. Just being sure that you're not rounding the back, creating, a lot of flexion in the back, the lower back. Keep breathing. And then releasing the arm, right arm, bringing the knee back down, bringing your foot to the front now, that left foot to the front, or whichever foot you're using to the front, and then we're going to just switch it. So we're going to now bring the opposite foot on top of, right behind that knee. So I'm bringing my right foot onto the left knee, and then my right knee relaxes onto my left foot. My left front leg is parallel to the mat. You can also place, like I said, if it's really hard to come into this, maybe a little too much on the hips, you can place a block between the knee and the foot. You can bring the foot in front of you and have blocks in front, so it's elevated in front of you like this, whichever works for you. So just taking note of how you feel. If it feels like it's too much, just to back off a little bit. And again, just creating these rotations with the body, just very subtle circles, slow, controlled movements, keeping that grounding with our butt. Letting the hips open as we move. Focusing on breath. Keep visualizing your body as you move. What's happening? Or just visualize the breath moving in and out. And then switching your rotation. Let's come back into our Hindalasana, our cradle pose. So I'm going to lift my right knee up. I'm going to use my right hand to lift my left foot up, or right foot up. I'm going to wrap and bring my foot, the arch, into my bicep, and then grab onto my calf here, and then wrap my right leg around my right thigh below the knee, and then again, just cradle, maybe sawing. You can also weave your right hand in that space there under the calf, and then just grab onto the wrist there, whichever works for you. So it all depends on your flexibility. It all depends on if you're able to maintain that neutral spine. Drawing that left heel into the right glute just a little bit more, and then just swaying side to side here, keeping your body upright. And if this is just a little bit too much, you can always stay in fire log. Keeping the shoulders down, keeping length in the neck, keeping the belly nice and firm here. And then let's release the arms. So I'm going to grab my foot and place it down very slowly here. Let's extend our legs out to the front of the mat. So just extend them straight out, coming into our Dandasana. So I'm going to just press into my hands here behind me. Just flexing the feet, just moving around, maybe slapping the backs of the legs onto the floor. Deep inhale. And then let's grab our bolster or blanket, whichever you prefer, or you can use blocks as well. And then let's place it on top of our thighs. Take a deep inhale, so lifting up, pressing into the sitting bones. If this pose, we're going to come into Paschimottanasana. So this is a forward fold here. In this pose, sometimes if, we have a hard time, tight hamstrings or a hard time folding over here, you can bend the knees, placing a blanket underneath the bum, the sitting bones, just sitting on the very edge of the blanket allows our hips to tilt forward because we want to just fold, right, spill over top of our thighs. So this just helps a little bit. So I'm going to keep my blanket here just to show you. Again, my bolster is on top of my legs. You can bend your knees, flex your feet, and taking a deep inhale here, and then just reaching forward, allowing yourself to come into this forward fold. We're just going to stretch out our calves and our hamstrings. We're bending our legs a lot here, so in this flow, so it's good to balance it with opening up the surrounding tissues as well. Otherwise, they'll become very tight as well. In this pose, we want to try to maintain our back in this. Of course, it's going to roll just a little bit, but being sure that you keep your belly nice and firm to support your lower back. So keeping your abs nice and tight, that also helps with the fold. And then remembering to press your sitting bones back as you spill your front hip bones over your thighs. And then just releasing, maybe your forehead comes down. If you have a block too, you can use a block here as well. If you don't have a bolster or anything, you can place it between the legs. And then just bending the knees, allowing your forehead to come to the block. So anything is fine to use, it's your choice. Keep breathing slow. Maybe if your body allows you to, maybe release the knees, the back of the knees a little bit closer to the floor. Just giving yourself permission in these poses to relax. Leave any thoughts of the past or the future behind right now. Allowing the back of the neck to elongate and just relax. And then when you're ready to come up, let's remove our bolster, blanket, whatever you're using, block, and just place it off to the side. And then we're going to roll back. So remove your blanket if it's behind you, and then let's come all the way back. And all the way back, and then we're going to plant our feet into the floor. Let's lift our right knee up into the chest, and then we're going to flex the foot, cross that ankle over top of the left thigh. So tucking the shoulder blades under the back. You want to draw the shoulders down, lifting, same as sitting up. You want to lift through the crown of the head, away from the torso, away from the pelvis, and then allowing the backs of the shoulders to be on the floor, and then pulling the tailbone down here, keeping the right foot flexed, just to maybe release that overarching in the lower back. Let's take a full inhale, expanding away from the midline, and then exhale, begin to draw that left knee into the chest, maybe reaching around the knee if you have that flexibility. Let's bring our leg just a little bit further down, so we're more on the middle of the leg here. Coming into that clasp, maybe behind the left thigh, around the hamstring. Pulling the tailbone down. Now let's draw that right leg down just a little bit further, so we're resting more on the middle of either the middle, or you can come just a little bit past that ankle, lower shin area. And then I'm going to lift my left knee up. Keep pulling that right knee away from you, and then you can weave your hand through that space and then pull your left knee into your body. So clasping your hands behind the left thigh, keeping that right foot flexed. We want to protect our knees. So what I like to do is clasp my hands behind my left leg here in the hamstring, and then pull my right hip down because it wants to ride up. So we want to keep that equal length on both sides of the torso, right? We don't want to compensate other areas of the body. Knee out. And then relax your left foot. It does not need to be flexed. So you can completely let the left leg just relax. You're using your arms to pull it into the body. So relaxing letting the jaw melt down with gravity. Noticing how your body is maybe reacting. Sensation, again, feeling. Noticing where you still feel tightness in your glute and just breathing into it. So drawing that breath, that energy into this area just to build trust, to cleanse it from tightness. Keep breathing. So even though we're pulling in with our arms, I'm using my biceps here to pull in, right? I'm allowing my chest and my shoulders to be soft. So I'm not clenching and rolling my upper body. Just using my arms. One more full breath. And then release the hands. Let your left foot fall to the floor. And then uncross your right foot. Let it fall to the floor. And let's do the same thing. Let's actually just let our knees go side to side here. So just a little bit of keeping both hips on the floor here. We're just going to open from side to side with the hips. The knees are falling from side to side. Just windshield. Okay. Knees point up. Let's bring the left knee now into the chest. We're going to cross it over. Same thing, redo your alignment, and then maybe draw your foot closer to the right side. So we're going to come a little bit higher, resting point onto the left lower leg. And then again, lift the right knee up. Make sure you're flexing that left foot. Clasp the hands behind the hamstring here. Relax the right upper leg. And then maybe pressing that left knee out just a little bit further. Keep the left hip drawing down. Every breath is a chance to rejuvenate. It's a chance to focus. to cleanse, to repair. Just seeing this happen. Maybe drawing the knee a little bit closer. Keeping that left foot flexed up. We want to protect our left knee. And then when you're ready, unclasp the hands, let the right foot fall to the floor. Uncross the left foot, bring it to the floor. You can walk a little bit wider this time, and then same thing, we're just going to windshield our knees from side to side, keeping the hips on the floor. So we're not lifting, we're not rolling the pelvis, we're keeping the pelvis planted into the floor here, just moving from our hip sockets. Remember, our feet follow our knees. And then when you're ready, you can extend your feet out in front of you. And then extend your arms out away from the body just a little bit. Palms face up. Taking a couple breaths here just to feel the body, to connect with the right side and the left side, and the feelings of space, and maybe energy rushing through it. Maybe relaxation, softness in the mind. Just allowing the eyebrows to soften, the mouth, space behind the very last teeth. Just let gravity take over. Let the cheeks melt off the cheekbones. Let the feet fall as they please. One last full breath. Maybe sweeping your arms straight up above your head, pointing the toes. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And then very carefully pressing with your triceps, rolling up. Coming back to one last seated position here to just close out, and let me show gratitude for you being here with me today, to trust me to bring you through this flow, this beautiful flow that opens our bodies and possibilities to dive deeper within, to connect our minds that much closer with our bodies, to breathe deeper, to maybe bring a little bit of stillness to the mind. Namaste.